hands, ladies and gentlemen. I'm called Tumwesije Wilberforce. I come from South Sankore Diocese. My bishop is Bishop Nathan Ahimbesiwe. I have here one of the youth pastors. You see, he was here jumping. Now you have an opportunity to be recognized the more. She's been working with my wife, Beatrice Tumwesije, who has been the Mothers Union worker in the South Sankore Diocese. So they are working together. I have come with Sharom. Sharom is a student in Makerere University. And we have come for Berak, who is graduating in this cohort. So Berak follows Sharom. And we have a family of, their siblings is a number of 7. They are a complete number 7. Others I know they have been praying for Berak, and I'm happy that he has come to this level of success. Now, I want to also give this special recognition to Reverend Alex Abraham. The reason for this, he's a real humble servant and an apostle of Christ. Maybe in my discussion, you'll come to see why. So what I'm coming here to do is an affirmation. I do not attend this, but I am a practicing Christian. I gave my life to Christ. I serve as I'm actually on the diocese, in the deanery. I'm a diocesan, on the diocesan council. I'm the secretary of the diocesan council at the deanery level. So I am really practicing in the church. Currently, I am the Chief Executive Officer for Bwindu Mugayenga Conservation Trust. I will not speak much about it because I have put a website down there because it's not for this day. The reason I have put that picture speaks on what Bwindu Mugayenga Conservation Trust does. That's a mountain gorilla. You can see what God has done. Those gigantic, beautiful, they are only found in Mugahinga, Bwindi, and Virunga, that is cross-cutting to DRC and Rwanda. Actually, because of those beautiful, gigantic animals, these 2 national parks, Bwindi and Mugahinga, constitute 70% of tourism revenue in Uganda. 70%, meaning others, if you have heard that, it's because of those beautiful creatures God created. They are very gigantic. When you see it moving with all confidence, you will really thank God. Now, here in my affirmation, I thought in a communication, it's important to speak when people are seeing what you are speaking. Those 2 methods make it better. So, the time I've been coming here, I came to know why this school is there and what the modules are composed of. So briefly, I will talk about the central theme of the training, even when I've not been in a training. But by looking on what has been happening, you will come to agree with me. Then I will define this central theme, which I have crafted personally. Then I will give it success and drivers. Now you must have known the central theme. And that is what I will speak about. Now, the key words in the purpose of the training of these people here, I came out to know that it is transformational mission. True or false? The second one is nurturing young leaders. True or false? The third one, societal transformation. True or false? So, Reverend Alex, am I not doing affirmation? When I look at all these modules, I see that the central theme is transformation. True or false? If that is true, allow me, your grace, to define what transformation is. Transformation is a complete change in the appearance or character of something or someone, especially so that that person is improved. That is in a normative way. Normative way. Today I will disturb you by bringing another argument that transformation may not necessarily be normative. It may not necessarily be positive. Another definition is a marked change in form, nature, or appearance. Therefore, in conclusion, transformation, your grace, is noticeable. You cannot claim to have transformed something and you don't notice it. Transformation, your grace, is very noticeable. Now, what are the success factors of transformation or managing transformations? I wanted us to think much on this, very, very well, very, very much. You have to carry out a rigorous analysis. Transformation starts with an honest and rigorous analysis of what is going on, and above all, what could be done better. You cannot transform something you have not realized that something is wrong or something is what. This school happening here is a dream come to pass. I salute the church leaders, the Church of Uganda in particular. This is what God wants. We've been all along moving up, but this is what God wants. I am happy for the pastors who have gone through this. You will be a different pastor. The young people have gone through this. You will make different homes like you are going to see shortly. So, that is how transformation starts. 2, you have to declare goals. Transformation cannot be open-ended. Once you have done an analysis, and the analysis is right, then you'll find those broken things, like we shall see in Nehemiah and whatever below, you have to plan. You cannot leave it. And a clear goal should be written. Write your goals. I wrote goals when I was in the university. To have a family that glorifies God. Write your goals, right, starting right here. Number 3, take responsibility of implementation. It is easier said than done. I have had people lamenting about fasting. This Beraka, when we fasted, we've been doing it, Your Grace, in my home. When we did it, he collapsed. Yes, I'm talking the truth. But I think now he did not. Because, he had practiced. What I'm talking is not to make him to be laughed at, but practice makes excellent. Number 3, communicate in an understandable and transparent manner. What is being done here, I have loved. Reverend, you've demystified. People, when we were in the university and you say, I'm saved, they say, this is a boring life. But what you saw here, for me, I've gotten an opportunity of moving all through this country and other countries. What I have seen right here is very encouraging. You saw people dancing. That's demystification. Those are some of the things put on salvation so that people reject it. And we are going to see soon how those things are being done. They have been done for long. That's why we are seeing a small number, but never mind. This is a great number. Number 5, change and embed culture. Change and embed culture. Don't be transformed to take what we have gone to, like we are going to see ahead. We are going to see what is around us. You may not necessarily go there, like Paul said. Even if you are pulled, don't go there, but be a messenger to transform. Number 7, be courageous. Some of these things need courage. Examples of Daniel, examples of Nehemiah. Those people were doing work which needed courage. Nehemiah was challenged by a mere servant. Sanballat was a servant. He was not a high politician man, but he challenged the man, Sanballat and Tobiah. They were just servants. So, take courage. Fasting will need courage. We don't need to lament. Morning devotions. In 1997, when I was in Makerere University, we went for a mission in Nebi. By then, Dr. Henry Rukorombi was the bishop there. Guess what? He still remembered me when he came to enthrone Bishop Nathan. He prayed for this gentleman, a prayer, because he asked him a question when I was talking with him. He said, how can somebody become a bishop? What Dr. Rombi did was pray for him. Yes. But while I was in Nebi, I found people were waking up at 5 every day, attending morning glory, including their bishop. Every morning, 5 a.m., going for morning devotion. So, those who have been struggling, Pastor, I saw you are mentioning something. You cannot win the battle. Where you are, the fact that you are putting on a collar, like we are going to see ahead, the marketplace, the 7 spheres of influence, they have been hijacked. You don't have time to laugh. You don't have time now to say, I'm going to a banquet. You are going to see ahead. So, what are the drivers of transformation? I have mentioned 6 drivers of transformation, but they are all embedded in the Nehemiah's story. Nehemiah, the way he did it. When you see in Nehemiah chapter 5, verse 7, I pondered them in my mind and then accused the nobles and officials. I told them, you are charging your own people interest. Come to our situation now. Look at the 7 spheres of influence. Look at education, politics, media, religion. The people who are there are not Christians. When our children go to look for jobs, they are asked bribes. True or false? When people are going in the parliament, are they Christian? Do they put Christ at the forefront? Where we are going through, whatever we are doing, if you ponder in those 7 areas of influence, look at education. Who are they in leadership of education? Look at politics. Who are they governing us? Look at media. Look at religion. Look at a family. What is happening in the family? Look at business. Who are the people doing business? Who are charging kafuna? But by the time you are going to school, you have to go to somebody. He overcharges you with they call it kafuna in the local language. I know Bishop Tamare, you know that. Kafuna, our country director may not know kafuna. How can we tell him in English kafuna is a Uganda word? So they charge you, you put your house, you put your possession, and that is what exactly the children of God were going through. They don't respect whether you have a quota. In South Ankole Diocese, he's my witness. One reverend was put in the jail because of that. I was hurt. You remember? Asaf, you remember? I'm trying to do that, not to ashamed, but to tell you that what we are going through is a reality. It doesn't need waiting anymore. But in order to go through now, how many people that are Christians are on those 7 spheres of influence? I've mentioned them. We cannot go there when we don't plan now. Am I talking to parents and graduates? We have to be challenged. Nehemiah was challenged. He pondered. To ponder, he took time. He looked on the status quo. He looked on the things. These things no longer need. You were thanking people who were sponsoring people to come here. Some people may fail to pay school fees. But in Psalms 24, heaven and earth and everything therein is for our God. Why are we beggars? Why have we become beggars in our own possession? If you have been challenged, then you have to be challenged right here. Now, 6 things. Nehemiah took responsibility to lead. He pondered. No matter how the situation was, he became a leader. You are going to be leaders right now. He inspired other people. Once you get a vision, you have to inspire others. You cannot do it alone. He would not have built the wall alone. Inspire others. They may not be of your face, but get wisdom, which our God does. And they will come to join you, whether they are your own or not. Care. Care, it is that passion. Care is the word that you've been singing here, pastors. The passion. That is what I meant by writing that word. The way you are singing care, passion. Do anything that you are doing with passion. Collaborate. We have different expertise. You cannot do it alone. Nehemiah did not know, I don't know whether he had learned bricklaying and concrete practice. He had collaborate. Then empower. This is part of empowerment. Empower others, bring others, so that your vision is not destroyed. Then build. Don't start building, but have all these things, and then build, and the wall will be built. Now, I'm going now to bring point of conflict. I'm going now to disorganize you a bit. Alex, I'm going now to look like I am a disorganizer. Because transformation is always like a normative positive. Is that true? In economics, people will go for master's level, you know there is externality. In the process of doing something good, some other things emerge. So, I will not read this, but you know in Luke chapter 15, verses 11 to 31, there is a parable of the two sons, one who became a prodigal son. But one of the two chose to follow the last son of his imaginations. He transformed into a destitute from a prince. Now, I wanted to tell you so that we move together because I'm going to contradict what you think. You think transformation is positive. I'm going now to contradict you. To that definition of destitute means extremely poor and lacking the means to provide for oneself. The charity cares for destitute children. In verse 17 to 18 of that very chapter in Luke, it reads, when he came to his senses, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have food to spare, and here I am starving to death? 18, I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. Now, this man was a prince. By that father, the way Jesus is speaking about that father, it is a God our Father, by the way. That figurative language, it is God our Father. So when we are at our Father's place, we are princes. But this man, in his imagination, in his expectation, maybe because of his surrounding, he yielded. And he asked his property. When you ask for something, we expected he would have gone for something that would promote him for transformation. But you see, he reached an extent of starving to death. It is written there. Good enough, good news is, he came to his senses. He also, like Nehemiah, he pondered. So transformation is not necessarily a normative of. They are natural things. In environment, there are things which will pull you. In the church leadership where I am, in my church, they expelled a whole reverend. Why? Because I stood with this reverend. We made a fundraising. When we were going to put money in the church, other people wanted to take this money to the school so that they can use it better. I am using better in the quotations. I said, but we have done a fundraising at the church. Yes, I studied in this school. Why do we take this money? We can do another one for the... They refused. The battle came out. They were signing with their feet. They took a whole memorandum to our bishop, and the reverend was chased. Why? External things. You'll find them there. He did not do bad, but in the process of doing bad, the environment was not pleased with that. Now, the lessons of transformation in the prodigal son, I want to tell you that science, when we are even doing science, I'm a scientist, we preach the gospel. Let me first see. How many people here did physics in this class? Because I don't want to. I did physics personally. Those who did physics, whatever level. Yes. Now I have seen. I'm going to give an opportunity to people who do not do physics. Somebody to state for me the first law of Newton's motion. Newton's law of motion. Is there someone? I mean the people who do not do physics. Can somebody now that you are not there, let me proceed and finish very fast. So the first law of motion, it says an object at rest remains at rest, and an object in motion continues in motion in a straight line when a constant. So if there is a force acting on a body, it can either take it to negative or positive. And that is what we find in the world. Now, the lessons of the prodigal son, the transformation can be positive or our internal mind or senses can be influenced by environment as defined where we are, who we are talking to, what we are doing, when. Whenever you are going to do something, ask yourself of these five questions. Action is key. Like he decided, the action he took to go back to the father was very, very important. So always mind on the action to be taken. How can you avoid this negative transformation? In John chapter 15, that is how you can avoid. When we are in Christ and we become his branch, he will guide us and we remain in positive transformation. The biblical case of reducing negative transformation is explained by Daniel. I know you studied Daniel so much, but what is key there, what helped Daniel is in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 5. Note that we are sufficient in ourselves, think anything as of ourselves, but our sufficiency is God. Daniel remained with God. Whatever he was doing in that land of captivity was influenced by this, and he overcame. Secondly, we need to be letters. Now you are going to go. You have graduated. In 2 Corinthians, it says, you yourselves are our letter, inscribed on our hearts, known and read by everyone. Now, whoever you are going to be, whatever you are going to do, you are a letter of this school, of the church, of our Christ. Whatever you are doing, know that you are a letter which people are reading. I wanted to conclude by giving a testimony, but I think I don't have time. And if I had time, I would have even put an altar call. But given that, yes, that's not a laughing matter. It's a serious one. But now that the time is not there, a brief testimony of mine as I conclude. I finished in Makerere University in 1998. When I went to work, the first work, people were writing claims without going there. I was a Christian. It became a challenge to me, and I resigned because I felt I was going to hurt God. And it shocked everybody. How can somebody leave the job? Immediately I resigned, God opened another way in an international organization called CARE. I got the job. It was much bigger. There I found at least it was a bit fair. I worked. I finished the project. I went to Ugaford. I was one of the first managers of Ugaford, which has transformed now into an MDI. I transformed it from Riantonde, grew it to Mbarara, grew it to Rukunjiri, grew it to Ishaka, and I did not steal the money. People would just come and say, Ugaford was actually under African Evangelistic Enterprise. It was started by the late first Chief Engineer, so it is under the church. Now, people would say, why don't you steal? You know you do. But I did not. When I finished, God opened the way. Because of that blessing, I had to get a scholarship to study masters in Europe. A very well-paid master's program. If you had that, you would have thanked God for me. Don't be jealous. The testimony is because I became a leader. I am not ashamed because I did not steal that money. I had a portfolio of 1 billion. And unlike any other person. And I was favored because of God. My interests were high. I was the best performing as a manager in the whole of Ugaford. So now, in all these jobs I am telling you, I did not pay bribe. For me, I would apply and I would get. Actually, people became jealous. Up to now, when I am a CEO, I have not paid the bribe for a job. So what I'm telling to you graduates and the fathers here, mothers, you people, trust in God, be his letter, and all other things will be at it. God bless you.